I tell ya, human experimentation is a tough topic to joke about, but I'm gonna give it a shot. So, I was at the doctor's office and they said they wanted to run some tests on me. I said, "What's the experiment?" They said, "We're not sure. We'll just have to wait and see how you react." I get no respect. I went to a lab and they told me I was going to be a test subject. I said, "What's the pay?" They said, "You'll be paid in full," with a newfound sense of radiation poisoning. Human experimentation, it's like they're playing God, except instead of creating life, they're just messing with people's heads. I was part of an experiment where they wanted to see how long I could go without sleep. I lasted 36 hours, then I started seeing things, like a good night's rest. What's the deal with these experiments? Don't they know we're human beings, not lab rats? Although if they paid me in cheese, I'd be all for it. I told my wife she was being used as a test subject for a new medication. She said, "That's terrible." I said, "Don't worry, you'll be fine." Or at least that's what the lab coat said. Oh, medical ethics, because who doesn't love a good game of, let's play God with someone's life? Medical ethics is like that one aunt at the family reunion, always questioning your life choices, but this time it's about whether to pull the plug or not. I mean, have you seen those medical ethicists? They're like the superheroes of the hospital, except instead of capes, they wear lab coats, and instead of superpowers, they have crippling self-doubt. Medical ethics committees are where hipsters go to decide what's morally cool before it's cool. I had a crisis of conscience before it was mainstream. It's funny how medical ethics always seem to boil down to one simple question: can we get away with it? Medical school should just add a class called Ethics for Dummies, because let's face it, most med students are too busy memorizing the entire pharmacopoeia to worry about trivial things like human dignity. And have you noticed how medical ethics always seem to involve some poor soul on life support while a team of suits argue over their fate? It's like the ultimate reality TV show, except instead of voting someone off the island, they're voting them off the ventilator. I've got a few choice words for lawyers, and I'm not afraid to use them, because let's be honest, they're the only ones who can afford to sue me. Lawyers are like sharks, but instead of blood, they smell money, and instead of eating you, they just take all your cash and leave you with a nice pair of socks. I was reading about a lawsuit the other day, and I realized that the only people who benefit from lawsuits are lawyers, which is why they're always so keen to sue. It's like they're trying to win an award for most creative way to take your money. Have you ever noticed that lawyers always talk about seeking justice, but what they're really seeking is a big fat paycheck, and if justice happens to be served along the way, well, that's just a nice bonus. I'm not saying all lawyers are bad, but I do think they should have to wear those "I'm with stupid" t-shirts to court, just so we know who's who, and also to give us all a good laugh. Lawyers and lawsuits, it's like a never-ending game of musical chairs, except instead of music, it's the sound of cash registers ringing, and instead of chairs, it's the plaintiff's money that's getting taken away. I've got a great idea for a new TV show. It's called Lawyer Pants on Fire, and it's all about lawyers who get caught lying, but the twist is they have to pay for their own lawsuits. Now that's what I call entertainment. Doctors and medical bills are a never-ending cycle of debt and illness, where you pay to get sick, and then pay even more to not be sick anymore. It's like being in a bad relationship with your health insurance provider. They take all your money, and then leave you with a bunch of expensive medical bills. But at least the doctors are nice. They're like the bartenders of the medical world, except instead of serving drinks, they serve diagnoses and prescriptions, and their favorite drink is probably a fancy coffee, because they need something to wake them up after dealing with all those medical bills. Speaking of which, have you seen the prices of some medical procedures? It's like they're charging you per breath or per heartbeat. Maybe that's why they call it health care, because they care about your health and also about your wallet.